Yeah, so I think for me, I really enjoyed actually talking to customers. I love the customer service industry. I'm not afraid to make that follow-up call, deal with those conflicting situations. So if you have someone that's angry about your carpet cleaning that was done for them, I'm not afraid to talk to them about those sorts of things. And I just got really good working with a team and working on upselling, understanding how everyone's business works and how we can actually make them successful. So we're not just, a coined phrase call center. We want to understand how all your processes work and how we can make those bookings, maximize them, and get as many in as possible as well, too.
Welcome to the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast, a show created to inspire carpet cleaning business owners to build their own thriving residential and commercial cleaning business. Your host, John Clendenning, has built and sold successful cleaning businesses for multiple six figures over his 30-year career and is the founder of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters, a digital agency that turns your online marketing into a lead generation machine. Tune in as John shares proven tips, strategies, and expert interviews to help fast-track your success in the carpet cleaning industry.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, for another exciting episode of the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast. Today, I've got a really exciting interview and conversation having with my good friend, Rachael Southgate. I have known Rachael, we figured out, for about 20 years, which sounds crazy. It makes you feel old, and I'm way older than her, so I feel way older. But Rachael, I've known her as part of a franchise network I was a part of, and then even after that, answering phones for our cleaning service. She runs a business called The Call Studio we're going to talk about. But ultimately, she is on here to teach everybody in the community the importance of answering your phones, kind of some of those things, maybe why you should be answering your phones while driving and on your hip in front of a customer or trying to do the job that you are supposed to do as the business owner, which is outreach into the community. You can't be standing there at a chamber meeting or talking to a commercial partner and your phone's ringing and you're not answering it because, it's, you let it go to voicemail and now the speed to lead doesn't happen and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of reasons we always talk about in the community that you should have somebody else answering your phone that's dedicated, that understands it. And now in today's world, we're going to go beyond the world of talking about phones, and we're just talking about communication channels, because we got a lot of shy people out there that don't necessarily call, but they want to text, they want to email, they want a message. But speed to lead is still important. They don't want to wait a day or two for a message back. They expect it within seconds or minutes, just like they do, with a phone conversation. So, anyways, I've got Rachael. That is the background. And how's it going, Rachael?
So yeah, like John said, we've known each other forever, couple decades. I've been in the carpet cleaning industry for 20 years now, and I've ran 2 call centers. So not just locally in North America, but all the way across the pond in New Zealand as well, too.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, very well versed. I ran a 24-hour call center as well, too. So 24/7 all the time. And I know all the ins and outs of carpet cleaning, whether you're part of a franchise network or a private carpet cleaning system. We know how to work with those clients and make them successful. So yeah, it's really fun.
Awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about, so 20 years ago, you were just a kid.
Yeah.
So what brought you into the whole world of call center and all of that kind of stuff? Like I know you worked with a connection of ours, Peter Snow, in Chilliwack,
Yeah.
BC, and that's where you're still out of today, is the BC area. But
Absolutely.
what kind of got you into it? How did you start, and what's gotten you up to now being like the director running the company?
Yeah, so I think for me, I really enjoyed actually talking to customers. I love the customer service industry. I'm not afraid to make that follow-up call, deal with those conflicting situations. So if you have someone that's angry about your carpet cleaning that was done for them, I'm not afraid to talk to them about those sorts of things. And I just got really good working with a team and working on upselling, understanding how everyone's business works and how we can actually make them successful. So we're not just, a coined phrase call center. We want to understand how all your processes work and how we can make those bookings, maximize them, and get as many in as possible as well, too. So yeah, I think it's just, and building a good staff, everyone, it's a good work environment. We love what we do. We love helping people. And then over time just grew it. And, we stepped away from working with a franchise network, and now we're more, on an across board system where we can help anybody. So yeah, I think it's just the desire to do well and see people do well
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of
really
made it
important. Like the
successful
fact
for
that,
us.
yeah, the
Yeah.
fact that you've been in that for so long, and then talking about
Mhm.
sort of like the team, because again, a lot of
Yeah.
there's all different degrees of cleaners. There's the independent guy going, oh, I'm just going to answer it on my phone until I get busy enough. I want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about why it's actually the opposite mentality. Get somebody to answer the phone and you will be busy enough. Totally different. But also then who's answering? Like, again, you run a service, but you also train a team how to answer phones. So some of the people on the call are going to like, yeah, I need to level up my staff. I've got people that answer the phones, but they're not really good at it, or they're okay, but we don't really track anything. We don't really know
Yeah.
like closing rates and stuff like that. So, and then now we're talking in a world of multi-communication channels. As I said, it's not just like, go back in the day and the yellow pages was where all your leads came from and your customers called your phone number and everyone's just call, call, call,
Mhm.
call. Nowadays, there's people that want to, again, as I said, text you, Facebook Messenger, and the team has to learn how to transition off of a text message to get them on the phone, or if they don't
Absolutely.
want to, sell by chat. So there's a lot there to unpack, but talk about sort of like maybe the training of somebody, how you're doing it, how you would think somebody would be maybe training a staff that they brought in, or their wife who's doing it while they're out on the road, if it's a very small company or something like that. Some of the things that you see in the training world of teaching somebody how to actually be
Yeah.
a good communicator and land jobs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the nice thing is because I've been in the industry for so long, I know how to book the carpet cleaning. I know how to sell the service, and then I carry those traits over to my team. So I'm watching how they take and handle those calls, how they educate the customer, how
Yeah.
their upselling's going, their job average. So you're not having to worry about those key performance indicators.
Yeah.
I take care of all of that. I'm also watching, so we actually use John's program Lead Pro, and we're making sure that those text messages, those Facebook messages, those calls are being answered right away. So we're not waiting, 30 minutes, an hour. It's within the 5 to 10 minutes, right? So we're
Yeah.
just wanting to be as prompt as possible. We're constantly, also as well too with John's program, Lead Pro actually calls right to us directly.
Yeah.
And because I have trained CSRs sitting there waiting for that call, they're going to take it right away, talk to the customer, and book in the job right away as well too. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the nicest thing too, it's a personalized call center system too. So you can sign up for programs where everything's a coined phrase. They just have certain ways to say it,
Yeah.
but I want to make it a professional, personalized system. So we know your business well, and we're, human to human contact, whether it's messaging, answering an email, or actually talking to the customer, and we're doing it promptly and professionally. So, and another thing too that I'm really good at with my staff is I want to train people to be kind,
Yeah.
compassionate. Some of these situations are stressful. You've spilt something on your carpets, or
Yeah.
there's, some kind of family situation, and they're there to listen, take it all in, and then book the job. Where if you're on site, answering out of your pocket, you just can't
It's
do the same or
not
have the
doing
same patience as well too, which is totally fine.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, we're just an all-encompassing service for sure.
And there's a lot of psychology baked into that too, because
Mhm.
again, when you're just answering the phone, every business owner says, "Oh, I'm just great at booking jobs and answering the phone." If you listen to them, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they maybe come across a little genuine because they're the guy that does it. They can answer some spotting and staying questions, but they're not
Yeah.
actually being tactical. They're not necessarily tracking their own numbers. Oh, I'm great at booking. You start running the numbers, and maybe they're 50%, where somebody who is actually sort of really trying to listen, help explain why the company's different, unique. So you don't
Yes.
have to be the lowest price. You have to have something in the marketplace that the client is looking for that stands out. And if you can get that across, that might take a few more minutes of conversation with the customer that you're rushing again and, oh, I got to get back to this job, I'll call you back
Yeah.
later, doesn't work, right? So there's a lot of psychology that the girls on your, the team,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're all girls or not. I just made a
Yeah, it's
generalization there,
okay.
but the team is answering the phone calls, and yeah, and they've got to, like, they're going to be leveling up and understanding again, not, as you said, not only your own customer. So whether it's your own team, like your own person in house, like if somebody listening to this going, okay, I need to train up my own people, understand that they need to understand the psychology of a sale. They have to understand phone
Absolutely.
etiquette and text etiquette and all of those kinds of things, on top of knowing how to use Service Monster and House Call Pros and Marquette and enter the job, and not book 2 hours that way first job of the day and 2 hours that way the second hour of
Yeah.
the day, and have the technician going, I'm driving all day, I'm not cleaning, and that kind of, like, there's a lot to learn before they go on maternity leave or decide they found another job, or move out of state or out of province, and you have to hire
Yeah.
and start training somebody all over again, which, as you know, we talked about earlier, is the challenges I've had. In the 27 years I ran my cleaning businesses, I had at least 6 or 7 primary staff. I always talk about Heather. Heather was the one that we enacted a lot of stuff together.
Mhm.
But prior, I had a girl out of college. I'm trying to remember her name right now. In 1997, 8, and part of 1999 before she left. Then I hired Sheila.
Yeah.
Then I had Tasha. Then I had Jackie. And like, again, some of them short-lived, some of them a little bit longer. Some of them you finally got them trained up on the phone, and then, oh, I'm moving. My husband got a new job, and we're moving away, and it's like, oh, and things like that. So there
Yeah.
is an advantage to a company outsourcing, which you and I were talking about, where it's just all they're doing is handling the bookings, the phones, and that customer support of reminding them that the job is coming up,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff as well. But also, just literally, I guess one other point that's really important is there's a lot more people that are that maybe English is a second language, that have bought cleaning businesses, that
Hmm.
can still run their business and sell their services, but it's hard to answer the phones and get past that part to book. And another option, or another reason for, outsourcing a call like this, would be for the language barrier alone, right? So in the communities and stuff like that, we know a couple people, in our world that
Yeah.
you and I both know that fit into that boat. So I guess if we just talk a little bit about that psychology of a sale, like the caring part of it, but how do you train that into somebody? How do you listen to them, you redirect them, but what does your sort of onboarding of a new employee look like that actually gets them to, get it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, of course, CSR training programs that they go through. So it's a whole series of videos, and then they're actually sitting with us and actually learning the process, seeing exactly what we do before they start attempting those calls.
Yeah.
So it's about anywhere from about a 2 to 3 month training process. They go through all the different testing and whatnot, get comfortable with it, and understanding your businesses before we actually just throw them onto the phones.
So that's key
So
right there. 2 to 3
absolutely.
month process. So how many guys
Yeah.
have hired somebody in the morning and said by the afternoon, why aren't they answering all the calls and booking everybody? Right?
Yeah,
In the same day.
absolutely. Yeah.
This is a skill that you need to learn, and you need to get better and better at, and you need to track the numbers. So running a business, like, if it was easy, everybody would do it, as they say. 80% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years, and the other 80% of what's left fail in the next 5 years. So it's about 4% survive to year 10. And part of the reason why is you've got to be a student of the business, of being in business. And if one of the things is, I don't want to have to train somebody to do all of that, but I do understand that a good
Mhm.
a good communicator, phone, text message, selling the job, upselling, is worth their weight in gold, because it can double the business overnight just by taking the same volume of contacts and converting more of them. One of those key principles. So
Yeah.
conversion's a big part of it. Um,
Yeah, and I think another big piece too with the CSRs, detail is everything, and getting things correct as well too. So
yeah,
in our programs that we use, you're getting a full first name, last name, detailed address. What is your access to your building? Email address on every booking.
yeah,
If they
there's
can't
a big one
get
right
it,
there. Just pause there for a second. The number of
huge.
people we talk to that it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you've got a database. Yeah, cool. How many emails do you got? Oh, we don't collect emails. I'm going, We're in 2024. Come on, people. Let's go. We
Yes,
need to be able to email market, text message market, pick up the phone and call people back 6 months, a year later, stuff like
absolutely.
that, as to reactivate the databases and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have email addresses, you've got like, oh, people don't like giving it to them. Well, you're not asking correctly then, right? There's a right
No,
way and a wrong way to ask. That you're going to get an email address from almost everybody, maybe except for the 98-year-old woman who never had an email in the first place. And I'm sorry, honey, I don't have email. Okay, I can't get yours. But
yeah.
done well with proper etiquette and the proper training, every customer should be giving an email address, because they do want the follow-up message of what we just discussed today, and so
Absolutely, yeah. And with our program too, we do confirmation emails. So that's an option. You don't have to go with it. You can do the email confirmation through your system or
yep.
through ours, but that's a key element because we want the technician to get into the door and make that job booking actually happen.
Yeah.
So the more confirmations, we do confirmation calls as well too. It's
Yep.
just all about that communication and connection to actually make the job happen. Another key part too is lead source. So you'll
Mm,
see this in big part of Service Monsters tracking those lead
yeah.
sources. I want my CSRs asking, how did you find our phone number today? How did you actually reach out to us? Okay, was it Google Pay per click? Was it through a flyer or an email newsletter? So that's a really nice part, especially for our newer clients. They
Yeah.
love that we're able to actually show them how their marketing's working. So that all comes within the training as well too.
Yeah, and
It's huge.
that's really important. That's huge, because it's
Yeah.
so we always talk about the three ways to, like, the three axioms necessary to grow a business, and it's maximize your opportunity to generate an ideal lead, an ideal inquiry,
Mhm.
maximize your brand impressions, and maximize your conversions. So if you are in Google Guarantee, Google local service ads, pay per click, Facebook, you're in all the Facebook groups, and maybe you're running some Facebook ads, you're telling stories of happy customers. So you're doing social media stuff. You're in the Google Maps, you're organically ranking, you're doing door hangers and postcards and yard signs, you're meeting real estate agents. You've got lots and lots and lots of poles in the water. Some of those poles in the water are generating brand awareness, so that down the road when they go looking, oh, I've seen these guys. So they'll tell you on the phone, well, my last source of attribution, what just caused it right now, was I Googled you and found you on the pay per click. But knowing that there's some brand impressions, the vans signed up nicely and in the neighborhood help as well. Not having technicians spitting out the window in the drive-through helps a lot, things like that. You're really generating the positive marketplace, and then you've got somebody in, on the phones or working with the customer going, hey, and how did you hear about us? So we can track that well in a professional manner, because the number of times that we audit existing clients, so people that
Yeah.
come to us to want to become, maybe use our marketing services or ask for a consult or something like that. A lot of times we mystery shop them ahead of time, just so I know what's going on, and I get the team to do that.
Good.
And we're going, even some people that are good on the phones don't ask all the right questions. They kind of get into price first, everything else second, as opposed to, hey, tell me a little bit more about it, and sort of nurture the call a little bit and make sure you understand
Yeah.
where the customer is going and where they came from before you start talking about packaging and pricing and all of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is to getting to know the customer and actually presenting that on the work order. So I
yeah,
want my CSRs to tell that story to the technician. Okay, please clean these areas. They have pets in the home, or there's, a pet urine odor in this certain area. I
yeah,
want them to give the full story before the technician gets on site. What did they discuss price wise? What's their estimated time of arrival window? And
yeah.
can they get into the property and how? So it's giving the full picture, as much information as possible before they even, get into the door. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice encompassing service.
And do you have some tips that you guys train into your that you've done yourself over the years and then train into the team, sort of to sort of convert an inquiry, I'm just calling around, into either an on-site quote, an actual job. Obviously, the goal is a job, maybe an on-site
Yeah.
quote if the company, we always recommend that if you can't sell the job, sell the quote. And if you can't sell the quote, at least sell the follow-up information. What's the best email? Let me send everything we just talked about, so that you can call them back the next day and say, hey, did you get that information? Are you ready to go ahead with that? Because 99% of
Yes.
businesses stop at the first call. They don't even make that next day call, let alone let it drip for a little while, like Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro does. But the very least, call and try and land the job. What would be sort of some of those kind of ways that you would train the team to sort of convert those objections or I'm just calling around into potential bookings? Just tease that out a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, so absolutely. So we have a nice system with, we call them price objections.
Yep.
So when they're not able to close a job, that's what we'd allocate against their closing ratio. But we're getting the CSRs to ask, what is your email? Can I just send a bit of information over to you? So in all those price objections, we're averaging actually about 95%. The customer, even though they didn't book the job initially on that call, we're
Yeah.
getting the email address. We're sending them a nice package of information. Here's the estimated quote that we talked about with areas provided or items that you need to have cleaned.
Yeah.
And then we follow up on that until we actually can get a booking, or to the point where the customer's like, listen, like, I'm good for now. I'll get in touch with you.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a nice follow-up system that we track and maintain. So, and then
Yeah.
that information goes into your system, regardless of what program you're using as a prospect. And
Yeah.
then you can email market to them as well too going forward. And it's surprising, the conversion rates are anywhere from about 60 to 75% upwards with
Yeah.
those initial price objections. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That
It's
is
nice to see.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and it's I always talk about sort of like you're in business. When you're a business owner,
Yeah.
if you want to be sort of Lord of the Rings, you're the keeper of the lists, right? So
Yes.
because you need to have a list of customers, and ideally a list of customers is like on a good, better, best scale, good enough. You need to at least have that good, like a list of customers you can market to, call out to. Better is have them broken down. Do they have kids? Do they have pets? Do they live in a nice neighborhood? Are they, rental kind of idea, so that you can actually break apart your marketing even better. You need to keep a list of inquiries, leads, if you want to call them that, inquiries that maybe didn't book this time. Because what if they went with the $99 special guy and realized that was a mistake? And
Mm.
they're not going to realize, like, they're not going to need another cleaning for 6 months, a year, whatever. But at that point, if you've been dripping on them in their inbox for a year about happy customer stories, why you're different, all that kind of stuff, you've now got a lead database 10 times bigger than your customer database that you can constantly work for a next year or two until they unsubscribe, kind of idea, right? So if they're just not interested, they're going to unsubscribe, but you can be in their inbox till they're ready for you. And then even still reach out, make the odd phone call. Hey, it's been a year since, just want to see if you're interested this year to trying us out, kind of idea. There's lots of ways to build that
Absolutely.
lead list. And then you build the list of referral partners, your interior designers and maid services, real estate agents, flooring stores, all that kind of stuff. And now you're the keeper of these lists and the manager of lists. So a business owner should be sort of thinking about how many lists he's building and how they're working it. And again, your team, whether they do it in-house themselves or what, has to be thinking in that terms of, what am I following up with that is going to sort of indoctrinate the client into why we're different. So maybe you thought the price was a little high, but the reason why it's a little bit higher than everybody else is we're doing so much more. And that starts to come across. They go, oh, now I get it, because they read the email or the second or third in a series of messages that
Yeah.
tell a better story. So,
Yeah. No,
big part of it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the key is definitely follow up, and not being afraid to do that as well too, right? The team is really educated that, we want to build our customers, our clients' database and make them successful. So that's the main thing I train them on. So
Yeah.
that's why it's important to do that follow up, even if they didn't secure the booking initially.
Yeah.
And they're really good at that. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the math points I like to put out is, say, for example, there's always there's levers you can move, like small hinges swing big doors, as they say. And if you've got, say, 10 inquiries coming into business A and business B, business A is, their average job is $200. They advertise a $149 special. They can upsell a few customers. Their average job is $200. They have no follow-up. They have, to a customer once after the job, they have no follow-up to leads, inquiries. They literally just book them or not at all. And then you've got another customer gets the exact same 10 inquiries, but their average job is, say, $400, because they talk about packages of services. They have different things that they can provide the client that's unique to them that they and then
Mhm.
they follow up with that person, monthly with maybe a monthly newsletter. They follow up with the leads to convert them. They follow up with the customer, and they have a lifetime value of a client. What we've shown is that the lifetime value of a $200 discount client, or customer, I like to call them, is 1 to 2 visits, and they might make $400, and you might only get 2 out of 10 booking with you. So you just made $800, right, for 10 inquiries.
Mhm.
The other business follows up, answers the phone well, answers messages well, books at about a 50% minimum booking rate on cold to start with, day of, and then can drip on another 2 or 3 over the next, you know, week, month, year,
Yeah.
in an ongoing lead nurture. Their average job is $400. Now they've landed 7 of them over of the same 10. Now they've got $2,800 instead of 800. They're $2,000 more top line revenue, but the lifetime value of those clients is now $4,000 or $5,000 each. So now they're at like $35,000 lifetime value versus the other guy that got 800. So the math of growing
Yeah.
a business isn't more leads. It is the math of growing a carpet cleaning business or home service business is better communications, better
Yeah.
conversions, better follow up, everything we just talked about, because it actually doubles and triples companies. And a lot of businesses are focusing on the wrong angle of it. Unfortunately, is what we notice, is that
Yeah.
they tend to focus on the transactional value. Well, it's not worth getting somebody to answer my phones because I'm only making $200. Well, you've got a couple of things to change. Make more money per
Yeah.
job,
No, absolutely.
and then yeah, convert and chase better and stuff like that. So what have you
Absolutely.
noticed changes in technology? 20 years in the industry has been a long time. I know you guys had a fairly sophisticated call center 20 years ago. Like I remember walking through it when,
Yes.
but 20 years later, the world's changed like crazy. What are some of the technology things that you're noticing that, again, not just chat and single, like Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro, single source
Yeah.
messaging services, but what other things are you noticing just in the industry in general around?
Yep. So we started off with, handheld phones,
Yeah.
um, actually writing out jobs and then scanning and emailing them over to technicians. So we've transitioned to, you can work anywhere in the world essentially from
Yeah.
the different programs that we have, the CRM programs that we use. And we have an online based phone system, which is beautiful. And the tracking and the reporting is amazing. Everyone sees everything in real time. So as we load a job, the technician is seeing it right away. And then, yeah, the biggest thing is all the different avenues to contact a customer. Before there was just one, and then email was introduced, and then there's chat. But now we have access, like, for example, through your program with Lead Pro, we can do all the different channels. So you have the Instagram, the Facebook, the chat bot, email, everything. And then your system nicely follows up everything as well too. And then our team is ready to go. They get the notification right away on their computer. They call it out and they deal with those leads right away. So it's just like instant all the time, where
Yeah.
before it was more a slower process. So that's probably the biggest thing. And people want answers right away as well too. And that's one thing with my team. The KPIs are really tight in that area. We need to answer right away. Like,
Yeah.
don't stall. Don't wait the 15 minutes. Don't wait the 30. It's
Yeah.
definitely like, it's a heavy hitting go and yeah, just a quick world.
It
Everything's
is.
fast.
Speed to lead is the biggest thing that's like,
Yeah,
it's just everybody's just everything's faster, instant. And
absolutely.
one technology that I'm not happy with right now, maybe AI will deal with this someday properly, but I'm not a big proponent of self-booking buttons on a website. I think a repeat client
Yes.
could self-book because they know the pricing, they know what the company's about. If they're already sort of all in a bag of chips on your company, they know
Hmm.
that. But without it, you can easily become a commodity. So the lowest price wins. Well, if somebody goes to
Yeah.
your House Call Pros booking page and go, well, I'm not paying that price, they have no context what that means. Whereas somebody who can influence them by text, by chat, by voice, and say, hey, here's why we're different. And they get an objection, oh my God, that price is ridiculous. Well, actually, let me explain a little bit what's included, what's not, all that kind of stuff. If you are calling
Absolutely.
around, here's all the things that you should ask about, because we include that automatically. Those are upsells for all these discount guys that you still need in a proper professional job anyways. it's hard to explain any of that in a self-booking button. So everybody wants, like, as carpet cleaners, as business owners, we want, oh, I would just like to show up, my schedule completely full, automated by, some AI, and people just picking their own times, and I just have to go out, clean, and come home. Well, you're a service technician, then you're not a business owner. Strategically thinking is, how do I influence more people to buy from me? And that's where, again, speed to lead, a role like you guys have, really, really fits in. The other thing you guys
Yeah.
do really well is the overflow. So outside of the hours, should a carpet cleaner be sitting on a boat on Saturday morning, fishing and answering his phones? And then we've heard of, like,
Yeah.
Leanne, love her
Yes.
to death up in Sudbury, but yeah, Leanne and Jamie would answer their phones while out, literally out on the boat, like that wasn't a fake story, that's a real story. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, no, guys, get somebody else to answer your phones. So go enjoy your day, right? But even
Yeah.
after hours and stuff like that as well. So not just the window of 9 to 5, but
No.
outside of the overflow, you guys have more capability or capacity that way as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of my goals with the call studio is to allow business owners to actually have a life. So yes, you own a business,
Yep.
and yes, it can be stressful and time consuming, but let me take care of the longer hours.
Yeah.
So we operate 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we're just located out of Vancouver, BC, all the way till 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, we are 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a really good range of coverage,
Yeah,
and
really
you
good.
don't have to worry if someone's answering your phones. We are doing it, and
Yeah.
you're getting the notifications when the job is being booked. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
great, right?
And you can even do
You
what
can
we
wake up
did.
and have your
Well,
coffee in the
sorry.
morning.
Yeah, sorry to
You can
interrupt,
wake
but
up and have
I
your
was,
coffee in the morning, and your
yeah.
phones are still being answered. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
No,
pretty
and this
cool.
should be like you should be able to go about your day and do other things, because again, if you're not answering your phones, even if you say, well, I can answer my phones, you can, but you can also go meet real estate agents. If you don't want to be out cleaning and
Absolutely.
you could also be stopping into past commercial clients every 3 months just to wander in. Hey, I'm the owner here of the business. I want to just come and take a few spots and stains out for free. Is Donnie around? Hey, Donnie, blah, blah, blah. The
Mhm.
rep that you have at that facility, just here to do this, checking out, any stuff. See, we'll make a bit of an assessment to see if any of the traffic lanes need to be touched up soon. But I'm just literally here just to do a free spotting. You can do all of those PR things that keep clients and land clients and get referrals, because you're not worrying about, oh, got to take a call, I feel busy, right? Kind of idea. And one thing that we
Yeah.
did that worked out really, really well is we had some, at some points, people, like, somebody coming into the office to help do some mailings and stuff like that. So Heather went on maternity leave and then came back and then went on maternity leave, and then COVID showed up, and we just said, screw it, all in a bag of chips on you guys. But
Mm.
in between that, at points, we had periods of time where it was like somebody was available only in the mornings and not in the afternoons. We had, prior to
Yeah.
all of this, and we have one button set up on our phone. We press the button, the calls are forwarded to you guys. We unpress the
Yeah.
button, the calls are in our office. And that's simple as well, because I guess we didn't talk about sort of the pricing, but you charge
Yeah.
per booking of service, not hourly rate of, oh, we're attending to all of your calls. It's when you book a job is when you bill for. That's what you bill for, which kind of allows it to be, add that little bit of flexibility as well. It's like, hey, I'm available to take some calls on Tuesday morning. Let me just take the phones myself if I really want to. I don't think they
Absolutely.
should, but they can.
Yeah.
And then they can just forward them when they go off to a job or something like that. And it allows, and right through to 8 o'clock at night Eastern time, they've got phones being answered, sort of thing. So
Absolutely. And we have a few clients too where, they do want to take those calls once in a while. So they're actually on a busy no answer setup. So
yeah,
if they don't pick up within the first 2 rings, then it steps
perfect.
down to us.
Yeah,
And then hopefully, like, then we're getting it by the third ring.
yeah,
About 3 rings is kind of your max you want to
it
go
is.
with customers nowadays, because
Yeah,
people, they don't have the patience, and I don't blame them, right? So
yeah,
there's a couple different options. You don't have to be full time, or you can use us, when you go
yeah,
away on vacation for that month and explore the world.
yeah.
We can take care of your phones for you as well too. So
Yeah,
there's
and
different
and we know some
options to
people, like
go out.
yeah, friends of ours,
Yeah,
Mark. when he goes scuba diving, you guys answer his phones.
Yeah.
And then another case study would be our good friend Mikey. Like you guys have answered, you have been Mike's back office. We don't need to give
Yes.
away names. Every Mike, you know who you
No.
are. But you've been his back office for almost the whole 20 years, I believe, isn't it? Like it's
Yes, 20
um
years.
$1 million carpet cleaning company in a nice sized town, and they've never had phone answering like people in house at all. He's got technicians, crews on the road. He's bought other cleaning companies out and expanded, and the entire time, it's just been you guys at the call studio
Yeah.
as that part of the growth mechanism. He's never had to worry about that and run a very successful company where he doesn't have to show up every day if he doesn't want to because he runs the
No,
business. He does. He's a hardworking guy, but he can also go hiking and
absolutely.
stuff like that and not have a problem. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
So even when his technicians might not show up for the day, we're still there. And we're
yes,
dealing with, rescheduling. Let's still save those bookings and do those
yeah,
confirmation calls. So he definitely now has an all-encompassing package
yeah,
just because of his volume of work. So, we're doing the pre-confirmations and the post calls, the follow-ups and all that sort of
yeah,
thing. But I feel in a way like not only has his team been great, but we've been a big part of that success because we've always been really reliable with his phones
yeah,
and doing that upselling and taking the time with his customers. So yeah,
yeah,
it's cool. We still, a lot of customers actually still recognize us. They know that we're a legit company because they've been dealing with my CSRs for so long.
yeah.
So
And you've had a
yeah, it's
lot
cool.
of like, I mean, you've had a lot of staff that have stuck around and been around. Like they're, again, it's not one of those
Yeah.
jobs that somebody normally stays in like as an employee, like you have because again, growing up and running the company.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jill's been around for how long? And
10 years. Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
knows the business, knows the industry in and out, loves the job. Like that's, and it isn't necessarily the easiest job. It's hard sometimes, as I've said in my 27 years, to get somebody to
Hmm.
stick long enough where they want to show up every day in the office, do all of the stuff, answer these phones, do all the, route and deal with grumpy technicians sometimes and grumpy customers and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
when you do find that right person, again, if they move on, when you have a service doing it, it's up to you to find multiples of these and weed through them and do that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's like you're trying to find the best of the best. One sticks, you can rattle through a bunch, another one sticks kind of idea. And it
Mhm.
saves the business owner the headache of, oh gosh, I got to start training all over again, that kind of thing as well. So we talked about,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's
Oh,
huge for
yeah, I
sure.
think it really is. So, and one thing that you and I've been talking about a little bit is because again, as I said, that my Heather it was the person who came on and said, John, throw anything at me. Let's add more to this, or instead of just answering phones. So as I learned new marketing
Mhm.
stuff, outbound calls, and you and I have talked about that as well. Like again, Mike, we just talked about has a full service program, which you can guys go
Yes.
all the way up to that level for somebody who needs it, and customize things beyond just answering the phones and the day before confirmation call, but and putting it into the schedule and all that stuff. But the other thing you and I've been talking about is one of those, like, again, I'm a shy dude. I do podcasts, I do all this kind of stuff. I played in bands, I stood on stages. I don't pick up the phone and call somebody hardly at all. It's just there's like just one of those things. So I
Mhm.
find that I make accommodations for myself. That's how we, if I forget names, I always mention the name 2 or 3 or 4 times until I remember the name. So next time, hey, how's it going, Tony, or whatever, because I'd said the name so many times. I make little games to do that kind of stuff. One of the games I made to get in front of commercial potential customers, like condo building managers and superintendents and stuff like that, and different types of referral partners, real estate agents, was I had
Mhm.
Heather just take a list, pick up the phone, make 10 calls, or reach out to 10 people in a couple different steps if she didn't get them on the first, and try and book a lunch meeting with me and send over some stuff and chat about it and become like, she basically, I found the list, she became my drip campaign, and she reached out about the meeting for a coffee about a referral relationship where I
Yeah.
would then sit down, have the conversation, and hey, before you decide, I don't even want you to say yes to the referral relationship, Mr. Real Estate Agent, until I come to your house and do, $400 or $500 worth of free cleaning to show you our process so that you feel comfortable referring us to your list. that was always my pitch, is like give, 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 give. Oh, okay, now you want to refer us? Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to refer us better. Once you said yes, I'm going to teach you
Yeah,
how to keep that going. And you and I have talked about the fact that that's like right in your wheelhouse. It's if somebody, everybody should be doing that and outreaching to help grow their business, but it's really
absolutely.
just a matter of a list and somebody who's willing to call, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's another service we have to offer. So outbound call services. So you just provide us with the list
yeah,
and we'll make it happen. So
yeah,
yeah, it's nice for our team, right? So they're used to talking to people all day long. So what's, no harm in just calling someone, touching base in a casual way and making that connection. Okay, you're not certain over the phone that you want to schedule it, not a problem. Let's just book for the technician to come
yeah.
on site, take a look at things and go from there. So yeah, that's another. And we have an array of administration. So if you're not just wanting, if you're not needing your calls to be covered as well too, or outbound call services, we do have admin support packages as well
Perfect.
too. So
Yeah,
if you're just wanting us to do your leads and your emails, we can help you out with that
that's good.
specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got to figure out a way for the people that, because I've talked to too many carpet cleaners. Hey, you got a database? Do you use Service Monster or anything? No, I've got it in my phone or I got a notepad. And it's like,
Yes.
yeah, we got to find a way to scan that in and get that over to you guys so you can put it into like, build them to put it into an actual build a database that can be marketed to. Because
Yeah.
yeah, that's that again, you can't run a business 20 years ago, let it go alone in 2024 without a database. That's again, you're the keeper of the lists. Write that down. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's so many beautiful options out there now too. There isn't just the one or two. So
yeah,
they just need to select one and we'll make it happen and
yeah,
work your customers into it. It's really
perfect.
that simple. Yeah.
Like, okay, so putting a pin in all of this, like
Yep.
obviously, I think we stressed the fact that somebody's got to be answering your phones that's dedicated, not driving in the car, not in front of customers. You've got to work your business and be out in the public. So you shouldn't be answering your phones. Even if
Yeah.
you're the guy in the truck, you're only doing 2 jobs a day. It's still worth it to outsource that because you'll double your business. You double your booking
Absolutely.
percentage just by somebody trickling down on these people and calling back and emailing and helping out that way as well, just for, all of the reasons we talked about. You guys have a solution specifically for the carpet cleaning world and the cleaning world because that's what you've aimed at, which is unique. A Jill's
Yes.
office or a general answering service where it's like, can I take a message? Yes, we'll have the owner call you back is useless
Mhm.
because that person is picking the next person on their phone or the next person on their screen, going to the next tab. And by the time you call back, I've already booked with somebody, kind of idea. So that a generalist of a call answering service doesn't make sense. AI is not there. There's no way AI is having a conversation
No.
that does anything more than, can I have your name? Can I have your email? Thank you very much. Somebody will call you back again as well.
Yeah.
So we're in a world where human to human contact is even more important, I think, anyways, as AI comes out, but is definitely necessary. So how do people get a hold of you to learn more about what you do? What's the best way for them to reach out to the call studio?
Yeah, so we have a beautiful website. It's just
It's lovely.
thecallstudio.com.
Yep.
And you can just fill out our contact form and it will come right over to us and help us out.
Okay.
Or as well, too, if you'd like to pick up the phone, our toll-free line, it's 1-800-665-9090. So you can
90.
reach out that way. Or if you love Instagram, it's just the call studio. So you can check out our page on there as well, too, and message us.
Perfect. And if anybody
Yeah.
comes through and mentions CCMM, Carpet Cleaner Marketing Master, CCMM, they
Yeah.
get what? What was that we were
We're
talking?
gonna do 1 month free. So just
Wow,
say that
that's amazing.
yeah.
So
Yeah, thank
try it
you.
out, see if you like it or
Yeah,
not like it. It's
absolutely.
Rachel's job to make you love it, which you will. I wouldn't have known her for
Yeah.
20 years and been doing this if it wasn't, but yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, just
so
meet our team, just see what we're about, just hear us on the phones.
yeah.
I think you'll be impressed and go from there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it allows you to then focus on the marketing. Again, whether you're a client of ours or just somebody who's listening to the podcast, learning about that, you're the marketer of cleaning services first. This is a resource. We're a resource.
Yeah.
You want to be out there in the marketplace doing your job. You go back 20 years ago, Howard Partridge talked about this, Joe Polish, I mean, Clean Facts Magazine, Dan Kennedy, Michael Gerber in the E-Myth. All of these things are pieces of knowledge you should know as a carpet cleaner, as a cleaning business owner, because
Yeah.
those are the way to grow a business. Rachel and the call center is a service that can help you over a hump and prevent you from even needing to try and build out that department. Maybe if you're 20 trucks on the road and you need 4 or 5 people on your own, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're the guy on the road or 1 or 2 or 3 trucks on the road, you can completely hand this off for a fraction of what you'd cost to pay a full-time employee to sit in the office, and plus, vacation pays and all of that kind of stuff. Let Rachel worry about all that and pay her team all of that kind of stuff. They're just billing you per booking. And I mean, if your average job is $400 and you're paying a fraction of that just to book a job, just build it in your pricing. There's nothing hard about upping your pricing by 10%. Cover this for free. Nobody will notice. Like, literally upping your price by 10%, if you're a quality company, is something you should probably do every year or two anyways. You constantly increase the value to the customer and then increase your pricing, and target the more sophisticated client, and you just make more profit and better clients. So you can build all of this right into your current pricing right now anyways. So
yeah, no, you sure can.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate having you on. As I said,
Yeah.
I've known you for 20 years. You're a wealth of knowledge. You know this stuff inside out and backwards. Hopefully everybody's had a really good sense of this part of their business and also what you guys do. Go to thecallstudio.com or look them up on Instagram or give them a phone call. That's the same phone number that's been around for 20 years. I thought that was funny, actually, that I'm going, I could rattle that phone number off the top of my head too. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, I appreciate you jumping on, Rachel, and hopefully we get some people reaching out to you and really understanding that they can literally double their business by having better communications and phone support and customer lead support than just trying to wing it on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. This has been great.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.